Sooner Nation, welcome back to the Sooner Surge. As we get started with this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, be a part of what's going on at the Sooner Surge. And we got Jackson with me today as we're going to preview a massive week of college basketball for Oklahoma, coming off maybe a game-changing shot to save the season, you could say, and season-saving shot, I should say. But you got matchups this week against the number one. First off, you got the number 8 team tomorrow night, and Iowa State, which top 10 team, number 8 ranked at Iowa State. It's already a tough place to play, and now you got to go play them, and they're very hot. They're playing well, really good coach team, really elite defensive team. Jackson, well, let's talk about that game first. I don't think the chances for OU going in tomorrow night is very good. But we'll see, Jackson. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, well, as you said, Iowa State, they're playing some great ball right now. They're number 8 in the country, and the last time Oklahoma faced them in Norman, that was kind of a slugfest of a game, which Oklahoma was able to pull out. And as you said, it's going to be more of a defensive matchup game. I think they match up well versus Iowa State because Iowa State really doesn't have anyone down on the block that can just necessarily kill you. And Oklahoma, they don't have that either. I mean, their bigs are solid, but now that John Hughley's out, it's going to put even more pressure on Luke Northweather to step into that road environment, which is the top 10 team to contribute quality minutes to Oklahoma, be able to knock down some open threes. So kind of what will we get from Luke Northweather? And also, will we get the same Rivaldo Soares, or we don't even know how much more healthy Rivaldo Soares is going to be because he tweaked that ankle again. I mean, as I know, he's playing. I don't know if we've heard anything on that, so that'll be something to watch. But obviously, Oklahoma, they came off of a win in which Jason McCollum basically saved Oklahoma's season. It feels like. I mean, if he doesn't hit that shot, we're talking about Oklahoma right now being 6-8 in Big 12 play. Oklahoma potentially hanging on by a thread, probably being on one of the final 8-10 teams right now to the NCAA tournament. But instead, they're firmly in really control of their own destiny for the rest of the season. And I mean, it's going to be a tough game to pull out because Iowa State, they're a physical team. They don't turn the ball over very much, which is something about Iowa State. They take care of the ball. They execute at a high level. So Oklahoma, they're going to have to be on top of their game in order to have a chance.
Yeah, and the thing is about their Iowa State defense, between them and Houston, those are the 2 teams OU plays this week. They're both outstanding defensively, and they both cause a lot of turnovers. And OU's kind of bad part of their game usually. When they start playing bad, it's turnovers. And you just can't afford it when you're playing teams like this. And, going back to the Jason McCollum shot, I mean, wasn't the shot you probably drew up, of course, but it went down. And here's my hope. My hope is that because even that game, Jason McCollum struggled shooting the ball. So maybe this gets him going in the right time on the right part of the season for Oklahoma. That's my hope. You got Soares playing really well. And then another guy that I think maybe not starting the second half affected him. And he played pretty good second half. That's Otega Owe. Now, Otega Owe's got to be a lot better with turning the ball over. He's been bad turning the ball over. You can't have lost possession because of turnovers. But I did like the way he played the second half. I thought he played better. So maybe he gets going. You got to get more out of Godwin. I mean, I don't know what it is, but you got to get more out of him. So Iowa State, going to be a very tough game. But that's just the first part of the week. That's just tomorrow night. Then Saturday, probably the game when the Big 12 schedule came out, most Sooner fans circled and said, cannot wait to go to that game first off and to watch that game because I want to see Kelvin Sampson back in Lloyd Noble. And guys, Kelvin Sampson did so much for Oklahoma when he was there. And I think the crowd's going to be electric Saturday night. I really do. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a great atmosphere. And all you can hope for if you're an OU fan is that early on you play well and you keep the crowd into it. You can't just right off the bat get just drilled and smoked and down 10 or 12 and the crowd gets out of it because it's a game you really, if you were to beat Houston, I mean, it's a guaranteed lock 100% you're in the NCAA tournament. I mean, we've talked about they need one more win to get 8-10 in the league. But if you win that one, you're probably going to end up 9-9, and it gives you a win over the number one ranked team in the nation. So it's a huge game on Saturday night. I mean, so many guys coming back: Hollis Price, Quantus White, Kellen, and Kelvin. I mean, it's going to be a great atmosphere after a great day of softball. Get out there and watch the game. But Jackson, I think it's a tall tale. Both these games are very tall tales for the Sooners.
That's right. And as you said, this is a game that Sooner fans circled. It's the game I circled on the calendar this year. I'm going to be there in Norman. And as you said, Jason, you expect it to be an electric environment. And Oklahoma fans really throughout conference play have showed up for the majority of the home games. I mean, it's really compared especially to the last 2, 3, or even 4 years, the crowds have really been solid compared to what they
But the team hasn't showed up very well.
No, exactly. That's my point. And the team has not showed up at home. So it's what kind of team are you going to see? Now, whenever Oklahoma's the underdog and whenever Moser's the underdog coach, that's whenever Moser has a tendency to coach best. Mm-hmm. That's whenever you normally see Oklahoma play their best, is whenever they're not, or maybe if they're not even given a chance at all, they still have a tendency to show up, play hard, play for the Oklahoma across their chest. And Houston, in my opinion, they are the best team in the country. I don't know if you watched them play, especially at home in conference play, but they've killed almost everyone they've played at home. Well, I mean, it's not even close. They run them off the court.
Well, that's what they can do because of their defense. Their defense is so good. Like, you could go stretches, and OU struggles sometimes anyway against teams that maybe aren't near the caliber of defense that Houston is. But if you go 7 minutes without scoring a bucket, turn out the lights, the party's over, because that's the thing about Houston, and which has surprised me actually last weekend against Baylor when they had that lead. And they almost lost, had to go overtime. So, but it's going to be a tough test. It is. And here's the thing, though, Sooner fans, you could go 0-2 this week. I think probably a lot of people expect them to go 0-2 this week. You could go 1-1 this week, and things are looking great for the end of your season. If somehow you can go 1-1. Now, if you went 2-0, Katie bar the door, this team's on a roll. I mean, and Moser Magic is back in March. Let's that game the other night against OSU, it could be a game that really propels them. And they haven't had a big win like that at the buzzer like that in a while. And that could be the one that really propels them. And it was against a team, yes, OSU's not very good, but let's think about it for a second. OSU did just beat Baylor or BYU in Stillwater. Okay. OSU can win home games. It's a rivalry game. Moser struggled against OSU. They got the win. So now you got 2 games this week that are very tough. Sooner fans, get out there on Saturday, support this team. I've heard it. I've heard people say, well, they don't show up at home. They don't play good. Why should I show up? Let's not have that attitude, Sooner fans. Let's get out there and support this team as they go try to beat the number 1 team after they play the number 8 team on Wednesday.
Yeah. And Jason, I think if you're an Oklahoma fan, as you said, you need to root hard for this team because it's been a year in which the beginning of the year we thought they were probably going to be one of the top 4 best teams in the Big 12, top 5. And they've had to deal with a lot of adversity, whether that was Suarez and Hughley going down in the same game. Them not having Hughley for the last few games, they probably won't have him for the Big 12 tournament. I would say your goal is probably to get him back by March Madness if you're able to make the NCAA tournament. But if Oklahoma, I take this back to in which they played Alabama at home last year, and they showed up and no one knew where this Oklahoma team had come from, and they just played their best game of the year. It wasn't even close. I think if Oklahoma wants to have a chance against Houston, they're going to have to play their best game of the season. And the same goes for Iowa State. And, Jason, I think you've said it a lot. I've said it. We all have been critical of Moser, but the time in which he coaches the best throughout his career has been in March. So March is going to show what this team is made of. And I think if they're able to win one out of these next 2 games, I would not be shocked if we see them potentially having a chance to even have that win propel them into the conference tournament and into March Madness.
Yeah, I mean, either one this week. If you can get one of these, it's massive. It's a huge week for Oklahoma basketball. Coming off a win, let's go get another one. Let's go get another one tomorrow night in Ames. That would be huge. A place that is very difficult to play, but I'm excited to see what OU does tomorrow night. See how they show up. Will they show up? Will they lay an egg? We'll find out tomorrow night. Appreciate you guys watching. And before we get off this video, listen, you see the FanStop logo. Make sure, go to thefanstop.com. Go sign up for their Shirt of the Month Club. Use code Surge. You'll get 10% off your first 3 months. They're great shirts, great looking shirts. If you're an OU fan, you want to sign up for it. So go there and do that. As always, guys, thanks for watching the video. Thanks for being a part of Sooner Surge. Till next time, Boomer.
Sooner.